Hey guys, Cheyenne here, and welcome to your 5-day clean eating challenge. Now, clean eating, what does that mean? For sure, when you got invited to this or when I spoke to you about it, you must have been like, I don't know what she's talking about, but let me see what I can learn. She's talking about eating, she's talking about meal plans and recipes, so it must have something to do with eating well. Well, today on day one, this is exactly what I'm going to explain to you. What is clean eating? Clean eating is eating whole foods. It's eating foods that haven't been processed, that haven't been refined, that hasn't had any form of manipulation done to the food. So, for example, preservatives that are added to the food to make it last longer, that would not be a clean food. Also, something like adding in vitamins would make it handled, manipulated, adding salts or sugars. So those kind of things make foods no longer whole foods. Now, technically, heating up your food is handling your food. However, there are different degrees of processed foods and what is healthy versus what is non-healthy. But we should always try to eat as many whole foods as possible. Now, what do we do then if we want to eat clean? What do we do? Like, we can't have cold food all the time, right? It's okay. We have to take things step by step. So when we say processed, we mean, with breads and oatmeal and frozen fruits and frozen veggies, those are usually processed. Now, when you look at a bag of frozen vegetables, hopefully the ones that you purchase only has vegetables. They don't have anything added into it. When you look at a bag of frozen fruits, hopefully there's only fruits in there and they've just been flash frozen. Most times, however, there are additives added to the foods to make it preserve and last longer. So, clean eating would be trying to limit the amount of processed foods that you have, because it's impossible. Well, I'm sure it is possible, but it'd be very hard to not have any form of processed food in your diet. Like, completely none. That'd be extremely difficult. And I understand it's just not the norm. So trying to minimalize that is the best way possible to go around it. Also, reducing your alcohol intake. Now, I'm not saying to not have any alcohol, because then that just makes no sense. But there are daily limits that are established. There's guidelines. They say for women it should be 1 glass, and for men it could be 2 glasses. So once you follow those guidelines, then you're okay. It's when you start to binge and have 4, 5, 6 glasses if you're a female, or 10, 12, 13 glasses if you're a male, then that's when it starts to have adverse reactions on your body, which isn't good. Of course not. Another thing that you can do is reduce your sugar. So you need to, try to limit your candy, try to limit soda, baked goods. You should also be careful for sugar in yogurt. We always think that yogurt is something that's really healthy for us. However, a lot of yogurts have sugar in it, and we don't even know. Tomato sauce is actually quite sweet. So we also need to be careful for that. And cereals. Cereals is one thing when it comes to our children, whoever has children, that's one thing that you should always look out for, because there's a lot of sugar in some of these cereals. So we need to make sure that we're limiting the amount of sugars that we give to our children, just because it's not good for them. It's not good for their teeth. It's not good for their bodies. So reducing sugar would be another way to clean eat. Another thing that you can do is watch your salt intake. A lot of times we don't realize how much salt is in the food that we're putting in our mouths, but there could be a lot of salt in there. There's salt in packaged foods. To avoid using too much salt when you're cooking, you can season with spices or with herbs or with citrus. There's so many different things that you can do to substitute the salt that you put into your system. Now, what you can also do is you can look out for more whole grain foods. So when you see bread, for instance. Now, I'm not saying don't ever have bread, because I don't believe in restricting yourself and stop eating something. To me, it's all about the portions. You can have bread, just don't have 5 slices of bread at one time, because then that's just excessive. But when you're having bread, try to keep it as whole as possible. So look for whole grain or whole wheat when you're purchasing your bread. Not just wheat, not just grain. Try to find whole, because that just means that it's the entire wheat grain that hasn't been manipulated or processed or handled or anything. It's the cleanest way to eat your bread. And also meat. There's a lot of fat in meat. Now, we need fat in our system. We need healthy fats like avocados. We need things like that in our system. However, certain meats, especially red meat, has a lot of fat, like saturated fat. And saturated fat does not break down in your system just like a healthy fat would, where healthy fat's giving you a lot of energy and everything. Saturated fat takes a very long time to burn down in your system, and that's usually what we store. So if you're trying to eat healthy and you're trying to lose weight, you're kind of going against it by having a lot of saturated fats. Try to eat more fruit. Fruit's great. Fruit is like it's natural sugars, as they call it. You can get potassium from fruit. You can get vitamin C. So many things that you can get from fruit. However, you do have to be careful for the sugar that's in the fruit. So always try to stick to whole, fresh fruits. If you can't and you have to get frozen fruits, once again, just make sure that the ingredients only list fruits and that there's not other things added to it. And try to skip refined foods. And by refined foods, I mean like, crackers. Instead of having crackers, why not have whole wheat bread, 1 slice? Or instead of having white rice, why not try to have brown rice? Because white rice was also handled, because rice originally is not white. So those are little tips and tricks that you can do to make sure that you're eating clean, that you're putting in your body something that has not been manipulated, something that has not been handled, that has not had any form of preservatives or chemicals added to it. And that's just going to keep your body, your temple, clean. So that's what I wanted to tell you about clean eating, because you didn't really have this information when you signed up to join this challenge, but this is the kind of thing that I want to teach you guys so that you know how to make better choices going forward. This is just a 5-day challenge, but you're going to keep eating for the rest of your life. Why not give you the information to make sure that you understand what is in your food and how to make better choices for you and your family? Now, the next thing that I want us to talk about on day 1 is portion control. Now, for me, before I used to kind of wing it. I knew approximately what portions I should be having. However, I wasn't 100% sure. I knew that I need to have a lot of veggies and that I should have some carbs and I should have some proteins, but I wasn't really sure how much I should have throughout the day. And I know they say, follow the 5 to 10 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, but really, who can keep track of 5 to 10 servings of fruits and vegetables? Like, that's a lot. I know I couldn't keep track of it. So, one thing that I have been using is a 21-day fix portion containers. And those containers have been a lifesaver for me. You're going to see me use it throughout the week. It's pretty much little color-coded containers, and each color represents a different food group. So green would be for vegetables, red would be for protein, so on and so forth. And then based on the calories that I have throughout the day, I have a certain amount of containers that I can use. So I just plan out my meals to make sure that I use out all my containers. And it's a lot of food, but it's also a lot of veggies, which I realized before I was lacking. I wasn't having enough veggies. I was having a little bit too many carbs, and I wasn't having a lot of healthy fats, which I need the healthy fats. So that program has really helped me understand where my diet needed to change a little bit to be optimal for the kind of workouts that I do. Like, I need to fuel my body to be able to do those workouts. And one thing I really want to make clear with you guys, a lot of people think if you don't eat a lot, you're not going to gain weight. However, that could have the complete opposite effect on your body, because when you're not eating, your body's going into starvation mode. And pretty much what that means is that your body is holding on to whatever food you put into it. So then when you eat, it holds it. Then when you work out, you think that you're burning all that food, but you're not burning anything because your body doesn't know when you're going to feed it again. So it's going to hold on to it. So when you don't eat regularly throughout the day, your body goes into starvation mode and it slows down your metabolism. So it's not good to do that. That's why they always say that it's suggested to have 5 to 6 small meals a day every few hours, because that's going to speed up your metabolism and your body's not going to hold on to the food because it knows that more food is coming in. So it's going to be able to burn the food throughout the day. So that's just a little tip that I wanted to tell you guys. Back to portion control now. So I have here a plate that shows you pretty much what your plate should look like when you're having supper or lunch. So half of your plate should be your veggies. This is super important. Veggies could be pretty filling, so this shouldn't be too much of an issue. A quarter of your plate should be your protein, so your meats. And then another quarter of your plate should be your carbs, so your starches. Let's say pasta or rice or beans or, name it, goes into carbs. Now, it's really important that you keep this proportion because you don't want to have too much protein. You also don't want to have too many carbs, because it's good to have carbs, healthy carbs, but too much carbs isn't good as well. Veggies, you could really have as many veggies as you want, but this is a pretty good indication to show you that half of your plate, at least half of your plate, should be veggies. Now, I wanted to tell you guys, a well-balanced diet includes so many different things. So you have fruits, you have veggies, you have carbs, you have protein, you have healthy fats, and you need water. That's another thing that a lot of people forget about. You need to drink water. And everyone that knows me knows that I used to hate drinking water. I hated it with a passion. Like, I was like, water is disgusting. It has no taste. I don't understand why anybody drinks it. But then I figured out I gotta suck it up and I have to start drinking water. And I started doing that when I was pregnant with my son. I had no choice. I had a child growing inside of me, so I needed to nourish that child. So I needed to drink more water. So I started looking up different ways on how to drink water when you don't like drinking water. The things that we could do with Google nowadays. And they gave me little tips. Get a water bottle that you can't see through. Make sure that it's colored so that your mind kind of thinks that you're drinking juice, even though it's not juice. Try adding a straw into your water bottle, because when you're sipping it through the straw, you don't realize it as much. But the one thing that really helped me is adding something in your water. So a slice of lemon or raspberries or cucumber or apple slices, any form of fruit, mint. Oh my God, mint is amazing in your water. Like, just adding something in your water just gives it that extra flavor that just makes you want to keep going for more and more and more. So water is super important. But if I break down each one of these items that should be in your diet, protein, why do we need protein in our bodies? Do you know why? Protein makes muscles. So you need muscles in your body. You definitely need muscles in your body. When you're working out, you're pretty much beating up your body and tearing your muscles. So you need your muscles to build back strong. So you need protein in your diet to help you do that. Protein also helps make hormones and make enzymes and all these other things that it does. But protein is super important in your diet. Veggies also is very important because you get vitamins from your veggies. Vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, so on and so forth. There's so many things that you can get from veggies that a lot of people don't even realize. Eat your veggies, especially the green ones, because the dark green ones have like so many vitamins and nutrients. It's unbelievable. Another thing that's important, which a lot of people think that they should just cut out of their diet and they'll be perfectly fine, are carbs. Why cut carbs out of our diet? We need healthy carbs in our diet to fuel our body. We need to get that extra source of energy, that natural source of energy to make us get on throughout our day. Like, if we didn't have carbs in our body, our muscles would just deteriorate because our body would be looking for something to burn. And if there's no carbs to burn, it's just going to burn the muscles that we have. Now, why would we work out to gain muscle and lose the fat to then have our bodies eat our muscles? Like, it would make no sense. So you might as well have your carbs, but have clean, good carbs. Sweet potato, brown rice. What else could be good carbs? Because don't forget, fruits are carbs as well, because there's sugar in carbs. Carbs are pretty much sugar. Anything that has like that starchy sugar that breaks down in your body. That's what carbs are. So it's good to have good, healthy carbs. The next thing, fruits. As we were just mentioning before, there's a lot of vitamins. There's potassium in fruits. There's folic acid, which helps with your red blood cells. Like, fruits are really good for you. Just make sure that you're not allergic. Because I know a few people that are allergic, and that's no fun. Fats, healthy fats. Healthy fats are super important. Avocado, but make sure that you're having a good portion of avocado. You shouldn't have an entire avocado when you're having your supper or your lunch. Avocado, really, the portion sizes should be a quarter of an avocado. Not a half, not a whole, it should be a quarter. That should be enough to satisfy you and satisfy your healthy fat needs. And then, last but not least, as I mentioned before, water. Our body is 60% of water. Can you imagine? 60% water. And that water is used when we sweat, when we cry. It lubricates our joints. Like, it does so many things. It nourishes the brain. Like, when you're thirsty, then you tend, well, I know for me, when I get thirsty, I get a headache. When I get tired, I get a headache. Everything goes back to your brain. So why not give your body back the water that it's using to make you function throughout the day? So those are pretty much the messages that I wanted to explain to you guys on day 1. So just to recap, I want to share with you guys what clean eating really was, what it entails, how you can do it. And then also we wanted to talk about portion sizes when you're eating your meals. So make sure that half of your plate is your veggies, you have your protein, and you have your carbs. And then on the side, you can have either your fruits or more vegetables if you really want to. Healthy fat somewhere in there, and milk products. You can have a glass of milk. You can have a yogurt. Just be careful for your sugar. And yeah, that's pretty much the message for day 1. I hope you guys did all your meal preps and you took your measurements, because this week you're going to learn a lot. You're going to change your eating habits a little bit if you weren't already eating clean, and you should see a difference based on your eating. So I will see you guys tomorrow, and please share your experience. Tell us what you're doing, comment below. Show your pictures. I want to see your breakfast. I want to see your lunch. Like, just participate in the group, because the group wouldn't be the same without each and every one of you. So please participate, please share, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.